we needed to expand. When we originally purchased the Union Hotel property, right with that sale came the building that sat next door. That building had been abandoned since the mid-90s. Boarded up windows, spray painted all over, torn awnings, siding falling off, an eyesore. And so we put up all the new siding, we put up all this new lighting. At that time, we were really focused on getting outside lighting because the street lights around us didn't work. And it would be pitch black. So we put up new lighting outside, new windows, and you have this beautiful building sitting here with this disgusting eyesore sitting next to it. And so it took at least a year to get approval to get this thing torn down. So last August 2015, I met with CAUD and Planning Commission, and we discussed taking the building down and putting a outside patio. Obviously,
CAUD is the Commission on Architecture and Urban Design.
Yes,
it's a city unit.
Yeah, because they have to make sure that there's no historic ties to that building. It's a long and grueling process, even to just do something as simple as it seems, taking down a building that's been abandoned for 20 years. It was obviously very well received. So August 2015, we went ahead and tore that building down. We gave it the winter to let the ground settle. And, beginning of February, I began calling down to City Hall, the Planning Commission, the Code Department, to see what I had to do to get going on our patio. As you know, we had a pretty light winter last year, so I was hoping to get started a little bit early so we could have this thing up and running for the summertime. It was tough to even get a hold of them. I mean, I got a response after trying early February, about late March, after having to go to the mayor and asking why I couldn't get a call back. And, the thing started, he got the ball rolling for us. But since then, I've been met with nothing but roadblocks, barriers. I mean, pretty much anything that the city could do to possibly delay us and cost us more money has been done.
Well, it's been interesting because I have seen, and even before the work started earlier this year, outside, I had heard what the plan was, and it certainly seemed that there shouldn't be anything that should preclude getting a fairly straightforward project accomplished. And then, of course, as time went on, I began to hear some things, including from you and others, that there were issues, there were hurdles that just were not being cleared away.
Correct. Where should I start?
and that's the thing. I'll say
that's the problem. There's not one hurdle; it's 100 hurdles.
And that's one thing I personally don't understand. I've heard that attempting to run any business of any size in New York State is tough enough.
Right.
I mean, with state regulations, but then when you have local issues as well, that it sometimes it seems as there's no wonder that small businesses sometimes start up and before you know it, after 30 or 60 days, they disappear.
Correct. Yeah.
So give us, I mean, at this point, and again, because it's a complicated story, give us a sense of where things stand today and why it got to the point where of enduring months and months of frustration that you finally took to Facebook to post about this and go publicly with some of the information that you had been discussing basically relatively low key up until this week.
Yeah. Well, let me start off by saying this isn't just about the Union Hotel. This is about the city of Binghamton. I want to see growth here. I want to see expansion. I want to see the families and that live here prosper and be set up so we have a beautiful city for our children to raise their children. But that's not going to happen if our economic growth continues to be stifled. So this isn't just about us. This is the stories I've heard from other small business owners, other landlords, even just residential property owners, of what they have to go to try to beautify their own property. It's mind-boggling. Whether the laws are being misinterpreted, whether the codes are being misinterpreted, which I believe is the case, or whether they're legit. I mean, maybe it's a matter of looking at the legislation and seeing some of these outdated laws and codes, and maybe they need to be changed. Or they need to be interpreted as most people would interpret them with common sense. One of our, pretty much our main issue has been because we are adding outside seating, and because we built a second story deck, which under that deck we enclosed, so we'd be able to still have people sit out there on a rainy day in the summer or even into the fall a bit. Because we added that, we are told we lost our grandfather status. That would mean that we would have to fire sprinkler the entire building from the basement to the third floor. Third floor, including the third floor, which hasn't been used in well over 50 years. This would cause us to have to tear up half of Clinton Street to tap into a new water main so we'd have enough water pressure. And a Clinton Street that was just redone last year. It would involve a giant, I mean, just a huge cost.
How much do you think it would cost?
About $60,000 to $70,000. Now, we had already budgeted out. I mean, I hate to really talk numbers, but we're going to put it out there. We budgeted out about $150,000 for this project, which is double what we originally even purchased the property for. And this was going to include our new patio, a new second-story deck with an enclosed seating space underneath, new bathrooms on the second floor right off the deck to where, so people wouldn't have to go all the way downstairs and inside the building and across the way to go to the bathroom. There'd be bathrooms right there for them. And then a renovation of the existing kitchen on the second floor to be able to, accommodate all the new seating we were going to have. And so it's a big project. I'm not sure if you've driven by, but it has come out just absolutely gorgeous.
I was there a couple hours ago.
I mean, it is a beautiful site. We have landscaping done out there, lighting. I mean, it's just, it came out really nice. I mean, it came out exactly what my vision for it was. So that was the main thing, was because we added that, we lost our grandfather status and would now have to sprinkler the entire building. Again, I may not be an expert on the codes or an expert on the laws, but from my understanding, to lose your grandfather status, you would have to change the building structurally by 50%. We did not change anything structurally. We didn't take any load-bearing walls. We just added a second space on a property where a separate building had existed. With that being the case, some of the things I heard of what we would have to do, one was they want us to put a sprinkler system in our kitchen where there is already a fire suppression system, where there is already 2-hour fire burning walls, which we put in there before we opened. They want us to put a sprinkler system in the kitchen, which my response to them was, I'm pretty sure I learned in 5th grade science class, if a grease fire breaks out, the last thing you want hitting that grease is water. If a sprinkler was in there, it would create a fireball if something broke out. So again, I may not be an expert on the laws, but common sense tells me that probably isn't right. Another requirement that they said I had to do was to take out these gorgeous double glass doors that I put in. Now, mind you, this exterior space that we added, there's still an exterior wall there. We put exterior doors going out to it. They told me those would have to be replaced with fire doors. And I said to them, when I think of fire doors, I think if you walk down a school hallway, those big metal doors. They said, yeah, that's right. And that doesn't seem right to me, because I don't think I've ever been in a restaurant where you see those fire doors as the exit to get out. And I said, well, I'm not doing that. Just for the aesthetics alone, it doesn't make sense. And then they tell me, well, then you'll have to put a fire shutter down above the door. So if a fire breaks out, the shutter drops. Again, common sense tells me that if a fire broke out, why would we want to block an exit with a fire shutter? So it's been a big runaround. I have numerous emails and numerous conversations with our code department asking for a specific code that tells me that I have to do these things, and I get the same vague responses without an answer. Refer to the code book, refer to your building permit application toolkit, refer to your design professional. These guys cannot give me a straight answer.
Have you spoken with Mayor David about this?
I have spoken extensively with Mayor David about it. In fact, the first time I spoke to him about our hardships was back in November 2014. It was a Sunday, a week or two before Thanksgiving, and one of our code officials was in the afternoon with his wife and another couple. And when my bartender, who happened to be my father that day, handed him his bill, his response was, "I'm not sure you know who I am, but I don't have to pay this." Well, we made him pay it. Now, we take very well care of our public service workers, our police, our firemen. I love feeding these guys. Teachers, I mean, we take really well care of people of our community, but I won't be forced to do it. And so we made him pay it. About a week later, and again, mind you, this is 2014, a week later, this same code official showed up with the fire marshal, the electrical inspector, and the plumbing inspector for a surprise inspection of our second floor fully functional banquet hall that did not exist. And so we were happy to show him that no work had been done up there other than we painted a 6x9 room for an office. And at that point, I contacted Mayor David about my concerns of almost being blackmailed in a way. I met with him in early December about it, and I'm not sure what came from there, but we hadn't had any problems. Fast forward to the next project. Same code guy giving us issues of minor little details. Well, that light that you're putting there wasn't on the permit of that you got to redo the outside of the entire building.
And he still is working. He still is working in his same position.
And he's still the same one of two of the same guys that we're having issues with. So that was the first I spoke to him about it. When I really got in contact with him about this particular project, we're going back now. As I said, I had to approach him in March and wonder why the code department or the planning commission would not give me a call back when I'm trying to get this ball rolling, to get this project going. I am not sitting here. I'm not going to sit here and say that we haven't been negligent in anything, but I will say that I'm no expert. I'm not a contractor. I'm not a developer. I'm not a code expert. I rely on these guys to know what I'm supposed to properly do.
We are running out of time. I'm going to have to ask, what do you hope Mayor David, I mean, the fact is, they listen. I'm sure they're listening now at City Hall. Yeah. They're hearing this. I mean, it's not news to them, but they're hearing it now publicly on the radio. What do you hope that the people at City Hall will do for your business to help you expand with the project that you have been working on now for months?
Well, let me just state verbally, the mayor has been extremely supportive of us. Bob Murphy of the Economic Development Department has been very, very supportive. I truly do believe that they have our backs, which comes to the problem where, well, maybe now if I have so much support from every department in the city except for one, maybe they have maybe one or two guys have a little too much power. So my hopes in coming out of this is for us to get our project going here. I mean, I've had fundraisers planned all summer that I planned outside on the patio. Well, that didn't happen. I have more fundraisers coming up that I would like to have outside.
Are you contemplating any legal action against the city?
From the beginning, we have not accepted any taxpayer money. We haven't done any grants. This has all been with our own money. To do legal action or lawsuit, I don't want the taxpayers' money, because to do a lawsuit doesn't hurt the people in charge that are causing this. It hurts our community. So if it comes to that, to really, for them to take some action, that may be an option, but I'm not there yet. I don't want to take that route. This route of even going public, I didn't want to take this route. This is the last resort effort of getting this going.
You didn't approach me. I contacted you to be on the program and tell your story, and to be continued. I want you to keep us posted.
I will keep you posted. If I could just add, my hopes is to obviously get our patio going, but my hopes is also to bring to light some of the corruption, whether it comes from blatant misconduct or just incompetence. We need to get this out of City Hall. If we're going to grow as a community and we're going to see small businesses, which small businesses are the backbone of any community or any economy, if we're going to see small businesses grow, we need to do something here, and we have to do it now.
Adam Kipp of the Old Union Hotel on Clinton Street in Binghamton's First Ward. Please keep me posted. We will be working to follow this story. We'll also be hearing from Mayor David. He's scheduled to be on the program next week, and we will talk with him about this, if not sooner. And we will keep our listeners posted with this story, and also with challenges that other business operators may be facing in the city of Binghamton for whatever the reason.
I am currently working with other small business owners and landlords and whatnot, as almost to get a team together, and we're going to be sharing our stories, so hopefully the public will be able to hear more people's stories than just mine.